How's it going? This is Nathan, and I'm going to go through how to do your delivery system. So system stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. So the better you follow the system, the more efficient your days will be. So the first thing I'm going to do is log into my Google Calendar, and I'm just going to go through everything to map out the day before I do anything. So the first thing is bring from Piqua to Lebanon. So these are the items we need to bring. So from the Piqua shop, I got 3 king platforms, 3 queen platforms, and a twin XL box spring. Okay. Mattresses, I got to grab a Queen Glacier. The Glacier is the name of the mattress. Anything in parentheses is just a description. So I put Ice Touch there to help people find it. So because at the top of the mattress, it says Ice Touch all over it, but the name is Glacier. The next mattress is Queen Greyhawk. Below that, we have recliners. Now you have to determine whether these items are going to come from the shop, because sometimes there's a display or floor model. It might be our last model, or if it's going to come from storage. Assume it's from the storage unless otherwise stated. So all of the furniture is going to be in the storage. All the mattresses will be at the shop. The only time a furniture will not be at storage is if it says specifically display or floor model. That means it'll be at the shop. So again, all new furniture at the storage, all mattresses are at the shop, and the furniture will be at the shop if it is a floor model. Also, $4.13 for a refund, it looks like, for Janet. Okay, so we're going to close out of there. There's an Ashley shipment. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Right now, I really want to map out, to be efficient, what cities and locations are we going to, and that way I can see which ones are nearest each other so that I can then do those together. So let's open up the first one. It says Lebanon, Ohio. Okay, so we have a Lebanon, Ohio. I'm not going to go through all the details in these yet. I'm going to first see what we have. So we have a Lebanon. The second one, 145 Wilmington, Ohio. Clarksville Road, Wilmington. So we have a Wilmington, Ohio. Okay. We then have a Franklin. So we have Lebanon, Wilmington, Franklin. Ooh, look, we have another Wilmington. Now, the reason I do this at the beginning of the day is because now I can see there's 2 Wilmingtons, so I'm going to want to do those together. I'm going to load up both Wilmingtons at least together. So if not everything fits, make sure both Wilmingtons fit. And then lastly, we have a Blanchester. Now, here's something you can do to see where they're at. So let's focus on our efficiency of how we're going to map this out. So we have a Franklin, the first delivery was in Lebanon. Okay, you can put the addresses in exactly if you want, but even just doing the cities will help you know. So, all right, Lebanon, Ohio. All right, so that's within a 10-minute radius. I'm at the Lebanon location. So Lebanon, Ohio. Now, where is Wilmington at? Okay, it looks like Wilmington is about 30 minutes away. Okay, so I'm going to do both of those Wilmington orders. Now, the other one was Franklin. Okay, so where's Franklin, Ohio? Now, if you look, it actually looks like Franklin is closer to Lebanon. So you're going to want to do the Franklin and Lebanon ones closer together. And the last one we had a Blanchester. And if you look at that, Blanchester is actually closer to Wilmington. So if I can load up at least both Wilmingtons and Blanchester, that is going to be the most efficient way of doing it. And you can even see drive time. We said 30 minutes to Wilmington from the shop, and then 20 minutes to Blanchester. And if you give yourself an extra 10 minutes between Wilmington addresses, you're looking at about an hour drive time for those deliveries. Now, depending if it's a delivery which is drop off outside, which is very fast, you just drop it off in the garage or outside, it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. If it's a bring inside, if it's mattresses, again, that's going to be pretty simple, no more than 10, 15 minutes. If it's furniture, I would give yourself about 30 minutes. So if it's a drop off, 10 minutes. If it's mattresses or drop off outside, 10 to 15 minutes. If it's a delivery inside, and it's furniture, give yourself about 30 minutes. And if it's a setup, it shouldn't take any more than an hour. Again, I usually finish the bring insides. You can get those done in 15, 20 minutes, and setups you can do, in 30 minutes to 45 minutes. But just to give yourself an ETA for the next customer, that's how I do it. All right, so now that I've mapped it out, I'm going to come back here. So, and, one thing you can do is just, you can go on here and you can say, okay, Wilmington, find your Wilmingtons. So the first one's going to be Wilmington. Now look at this. I'm going to break it down. The first portion is the phone numbers, okay? So you got the phone numbers. The next thing is what kind of delivery type. Notice it says deliver inside. So you need to bring whatever it is inside. Flexible time, off work. This is important because, that way, if you're trying to squeeze in a delivery or if you have a layover, if somebody can't get it till later, you can say, okay, well, let me at least do this one first because they're pretty flexible. Also note that they owe $50. So you got phone number, delivery type, and if there's a refund or if they owe money. So right here, they owe $50. So before you leave, you want to collect the $50. Now, what are we actually bringing here? This is what we need to load up for this first Wilmington order. Mattresses. So Queen Glacier, a Queen True Performance 15 pillow top, that's the name. The description there is black, and a Queen Platform, which comes in a box. So you'll load up all of that. Now, you want to load up everything where the last delivery is going to be actually loaded on first, okay? Because as you get to the last one, it's going to be in the back, and that'll save you time as well. So where was the other one? So we had another Wilmington one. Okay, this is the other Wilmington one. So what's this? Phone number, again. This delivery type is a setup. So that means whatever we're doing, we're setting it up. Typically, a setup is like just putting the feet on. If it's like a couch or something, you're taking it out of the plastic, putting the feet on, or if it's a sectional, you're just kind of connecting them together. So again, it's not anything super major. So it's called Naltari Sofa and Love Seat. So that's the description, but the numbers you're going to look for, 872-1438, 872-1435. And you got to be very careful because some of the numbers look very similar but are different. So there's some parts where it's a different color. So it'll say 872-1338. So make sure you get the 872-1438, not the 872-1338. So make sure, I always look with my partner and say, hey, is this right? Just to make sure. So you're going to load up a sofa and a love seat. Boom. So that's two. So you got those. You should still have room. And then the Blanchester one was the other one we said we wanted to do together. So we have a sleeper sectional here. Okay, sleeper sectional, phone number. We have the phone number there because we're going to be calling the customers as well to give them ETAs once we get all the logistics done. What kind of delivery is it? Inside. So what are we delivering inside? There's two part numbers. See, there's a 872-1310 and 872-1317. It's a sleeper sectional. The sleeper sectionals can be a little bit heavier, but again, with a couple people and you have a dolly, you should be fine. So now once you get all of that loaded on, you can determine, do we still have room or do we need to come back to the shop? Now, the good thing is this one, the shop's in Lebanon and the deliveries are in Lebanon and Franklin. So if you have to do Wilmington and Blanchester first, you can always come back to load up the ones that are local, and that's not that big of a deal. You want to avoid needing to load up to go back to the same city. So that's kind of, working on efficiency. So let's see what else. So we've loaded up our Wilmingtons. We've loaded up Blanchester. Okay, so you still want to look and see what everything else is for the day. Right here, we have a phone number to call, delivery type, setup, and haul away. Okay, this is new, haul away. It looks like there's a love seat that needs hauled away. Now, the reason it's important to look at this at the beginning is because then you can let yourself know, I have to make sure I have room on my truck to haul away a love seat, right? Because typically what we do is we'll put it on the truck and then at another point, usually the next morning before we get started, we'll bring it to the dump. And then also there's a refund. So, okay, I got to make sure I bring that $25. And you look at these before you do everything. And then when you get there, double check. All right. And what are we loading up? It's a recliner, 583-0028. It doesn't say floor model, so we're assuming it's at the storage. All right. And then all the recliners come in boxes. So as you do it, you'll start to get familiar with the sizes of the boxes. So we've loaded up those. We've did the Wilmington. This is a Franklin drop-off. So again, it's a drop-off outside, so you don't even have to bring it in. Usually the mattresses are easy enough to bring it in. So, but whether you drop it off or bring it in, it's not that big of a deal. But you got a queen mattress. Now, what I like to do with this, I notice this, it says flip mattress. That is not the name of it. I'm going to put Blackhawk because that's the name. A flip or a double-sided, That's a description. So this person didn't put the description. So it's a flip. That means it's a double-sided. That's just going to help you know, like, okay, because we only have one mattress that we carry that is double-sided. So Queen Blackhawk, that's the name. And the flip means you can flip it over and it's going to have two sides with the pillow top. And then lastly, you got the Queen box spring. So I'm going to save that. And then that way you know that's the name. So there we have it. And then lastly, bring from Lebanon. So before you head out, you just want to make sure you grab a large area rug. We only had one there. So if there's multiple ones, we'll put more descriptions, but there was just one large area rug. And usually if it's at the store, the salesperson who's in is going to help you with that. So you can always call if you have questions. If there's not enough descriptions, we all make mistakes. Sometimes we'll forget a description, but we do our best. Like that last one, it said flip. So you can always call and say, hey, what's the flip? So that's going to be really important is before I do anything. So now the next thing I'll do is after I've loaded up, because remember, I'm loading up both my Wilmingtons first, Wilmington, and Blanchester. So there's going to be the first three. Now look at the time frames, 3 to 6, so I can do that one. The next one down says 3:05, to 6:05, so I can do that second. And then Blanchester says 4:15 to 6:15. So the good thing about that is you should be, do that third. So if you do those first two Wilmingtons and then the Blanchester, you should be good. And then you just want to communicate with them. Now, this first one says, hey, 2:30 to 6:30. So I would let them know, hey, you're going to be the fourth delivery because I have to make sure there's room. Because look, if we click in here, 2:30, I know they said they wanted it earlier, but it's a haul away. So I'd call them and say, hey, I have to get to you about, fourth delivery. And that's just because I have to make sure there's room on my truck to haul it away. We should probably be to you between 5 and 7. I usually try to give them a 2-hour window. And when I'm headed their way, I will call them and say, hey, just letting you know, I am headed your way. I should be there at 6:45. So, but in the beginning of the day, let everyone know. So I'm going to call that second delivery, the Clarksville Road. No, hey, I'm headed to you. I'll be there in about, 30, 40 minutes. I'm going to then call. And when you're driving, you can have the passenger, whoever is not driving, can call these people ahead of time to give them a heads up. You can then call that fourth delivery down, which is also another Wilmington delivery, and just call them and say, hey, we got a delivery right before you. You'll be next. We'll probably be to you in about an hour, right? 30 minutes to the other one. And then another 30 minutes to get to them. That's about an hour. And then Blanchester, you can call them. Hey, just want to let you know, you are the third delivery. And we're probably we got 2 deliveries before you. We'll be in Wilmington and we're going to shoot right over to you. So we're going to be to you in about an hour and a half to 2 hours at the latest. But we will call you and let you know when we're headed your way. You will then call the next one on the list, the Lebanon. You've already called them. You've told them, hey, you're going to be fourth. And then the last one is Franklin. Just want to let you know you're the last delivery. We're probably going to get to you closer to about 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock at the latest. So 7 to 8 o'clock. So there you have it. That's how you map out the day. Reach out if you have questions about that. But you'll map it out at the beginning, and then you'll call all the customers to let them know an approximate ETA. Give them about a 2-hour window, okay? Give them a 2-hour window. And then when you're headed to the next customer, let them know that you are on the way. And one last thing to remember, now we did this one yesterday, is every time you do a delivery, you're going to go to edit, and you're going to put a little check mark there. It's just an emoji. Boom. And that lets us know that you've completed it. So we know about where you're at. So if you do that one, then the next delivery you do, you're headed to them. Once you complete that, boom, you're going to do a check mark and let them know you've completed it. Blanchester, same thing. And just as you go through, you'll be able to see them check off and everyone can see. All right. So the next one is the Lebanon one. Boom. Boom. All right. And there you go. Something else that you can do too, if it's helpful, as you're mapping it out, you can edit this, right? This is the Wilmington. And you can say stop 1, right? And then you can go here And this is before you deliver it. This is when you're mapping out your day. You can do stop 2. And then you can do stop 3. And this will just help you to know which one to go to next. Stop 4. And then lastly, this Franklin delivery, stop 5. So you can do this at the very beginning of the day. So boom, I got stop 1, couple down, stop 2, stop 3, at the top, stop 4, and then back to stop 5. And then that way you'll know. So just map it out, label them, stop 1, stop 2, stop 3, stop 4, and stop 5.